right, and we are back with Rayandra and Lucy from PAWS Atlanta visiting, and of course we're looking for a home for Lucy, and if you would like to, gosh, although by the time the show airs, maybe Lucy will have a wonderful
I hope
home.
so.
But you have so many
we
dogs
have
to choose
plenty of
from.
others. Yes, we do.
And I would
yes,
think that
we
would
do.
be overwhelming when somebody's going for a dog and there's all these wonderful dogs. Is it hard for them to choose?
You know, it's interesting. I think it depends on the personality of the adopter or the family. Some adopters know exactly what they want. I want a boxer mix, or I want a Maltese because my Maltese passed away. And then you have others that will walk in and really just take a look around, see which dogs are reacting to them most favorably. And the way that the PAWS Atlanta is laid out, the shelter is laid out, is there's plenty of room. So when you walk towards the back and you see all of the dogs, you're not just inundated with barking and dogs running around. They're kept in runs that are sheltered from the rain and the sun, and a potential adopter can just take his or her time looking at each dog. If they're interested in a dog, they take the dog for a walk on the walking trail, spend some time with the dog. So it's a really neat
nice
process.
adoption
It is.
experience.
It is.
So you recently upgraded. That's why it's
We
so wonderful.
did. We've actually been the beneficiary of some significant upgrades to all of the areas where the animals are kept. So we've seen upgrades to the dog runs. We've seen upgrades to the adoption center itself. We've seen upgrades to the cat cottage. Everything was really geared towards how can we make the animals as comfortable as possible while they're at PAWS Atlanta. Right.
And we're talking about volunteering next, and as you were talking, I was thinking to myself of all the different ways, even if people don't have money,
Absolutely.
you can really make a difference, and maybe not even just straight volunteering. If you have construction needs, let's say, construction workers out of work and happens to be an animal lover, I mean, that would be a fun way to spend the day.
There is a huge range of possibility, and we are so appreciative of time and energy and any donation amount. For instance, it only costs $5 to microchip an animal. So if someone even has $5 to donate, they can really do a world of good. We have volunteers that walk the dogs and socialize the dogs and socialize with the cats, which is so important. That is the fun part. And then we
Tell me about the other volunteering experiences.
And then we have volunteers who work on the beautification of the shelter. So someone who has an interest in gardening, for instance, we have a whole landscaped area that we like to keep very welcoming and beautiful. We always have construction needs because there's a lot of wear and tear on the shelter. So we always have construction needs. And even if someone isn't really sure what they want to do, but they know that they want to get involved, they can just email us at volunteers@pawsatlanta.org, and we will talk with them and determine exactly where they want to get involved and how often they'd like to get involved.
And then you have a volunteer orientation class.
We do. If someone would like to volunteer and walk the dogs and socialize with the dogs, we have a volunteer orientation. Happens on Sundays. It's always posted on our website, pawsatlanta.org. And they come and get oriented to the shelter, learn some of the rules that are necessary to keep the dogs safe. And they also learn how to train the dogs in their basic commands. And in fact, many of the volunteers will take what they've learned about the dog training and take it home. Exactly. Exactly.
It is very important to know how to train your dog. I have a pit bull, and she's been trained with love.
Which is the most important, yes.
She responds to very well, but there are times that I wish that I would have trained her
a little boundaries.
A little bit better, but
Absolutely. And when you have a dog like Lucy who is house trained and she'll know to sit, she knows down. Well, there you go. She knows down, and all of the training techniques are all positive reinforcement. And so that is very important because many of the dogs come from backgrounds that haven't been so great. They've been neglected or they've been dropped off or what have you. And so we want to make sure that we are as positive with them in their training and their experience as possible.
One of the things I have noticed, we did a little bit of that, but I have an older dog, and she was so, you would think that they say older dogs can't learn, but that actually is not true. We had a little Staples, that was easy thing.
Yep.
And through that positive reinforcement, we were able to train her to go over there and do that little trick for the food, because she's so food.
Did you put that on YouTube? Can we see her going over and hitting the...
No, I never thought of that. Actually,
That would be hilarious, but yes,
but she
exactly.
was like maybe 10 years old at the time, and it's like it's finding a way to communicate, because they want to communicate, but they don't, speak people, and we don't speak dogs.
Absolutely. And in fact, the shelter is lucky to have a partner in Victoria Stillwell, who is on Animal Planet's It's Me or the Dog.
Oh,
and so
I have seen that show now.
Yes, she partners with our lead trainer, JD, and really works with JD and works with the dogs to make sure that every training is consistent. So that we really want to make sure that the adoption experience and the acclimation of the dog to the new family is as seamless and as positive as possible.
Sounds like fun. So now, how long have you been involved altogether?
Oh gosh, I've been involved for about 3 years altogether.
And how many
Sweetheart.
how many staff is actually at the?
We actually have 16 full-time staff members. So we have our vet techs, we have our director of operations, and we have our shelter manager, and then we have everyone else who's involved in the care of the dogs and the cats. And they are they are like a family. And they are a wonderfully dedicated group of individuals who just deserve so much acknowledgement for what they do every day.
Being a animal lover myself, I actually heard for a long time many good things about PAWS Atlanta. That's like kind of to me they're the out front organization of Atlanta that really spread the word about no kill, and nobody wants to put an animal down. That's,
And unfortunately, in this economic environment, that's becoming more and more common because so many of the shelters are full. So many of the breed rescues are full. So,
what's a breed rescue?
For instance, if Pit bulls. Pit bulls have a specific breed rescue, and there are organizations and groups that actually operate nationwide, and they will specifically focusing on rescuing, working with, and then adopting out permanently or in a foster situation a particular breed.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to take another little break right now, and we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Great.
We'll be right back.